Hello, you guys. Back to, what is episode 11 or 10?
Episode 12.
12!
Episode 12. Welcome back to the Earthboys podcast. My name is Emmy.
I'm Jaden.
I do not have a beverage with me today, which is fine.
Do you want me to grab
I just wanted to raw dog it today.
Do you want to do a Diet Mountain, the Zero Sugar Mountain Dew?
I'll try one, yeah.
Here, okay, I'll be right back.
All right.
Context for people. This has 70 milligrams of caffeine in it. And I bought these because they're 0 calories. So I want you to try it out. Clearly, it's going to be some type of like variant of a diet beverage, but I drink these bad boys just because you get that little sugar feel without everything.
Delicious. Thank you.
It's not bad, right?
No, it's pretty good, actually.
Like, the aftertaste is a little weird, but when you're eating food, you don't notice it.
No, and I'd prefer it to be this way anyways if it's got less sugar in it.
It's got 0 sugar in it.
Zero.
Apparently, 0 sugared sodas are like diet sodas 2.0. Like, the flavor is usually better.
Yeah.
I bought these A&W Rippers. I don't really like them, but these ones have no caffeine, whereas, like, obviously I'm not going to crush one of those after work or something.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, 70 milligrams of caffeine.
Stay up for another 5 hours.
Yeah. So I crushed one of these.
Nice. Yeah, no, these are good. Last night before I went to bed kind of early. Normally I've been going to bed at 3. I went to bed like at 1.
1? Wow.
Not 12:45, 1. But for like the last hour of the night, I went down this rabbit hole on YouTube of like, it's called the Pocket Operator. And essentially what it is, it's like a mini sampler for like making hip hop beats and lo-fi and all that stuff. They have pretty cool technology and like little devices you can use to sample and like for bass and drums and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I kept clicking on suggested videos that were like people making beats and stuff. So it just got like progressively more and more weird as it went. Like the beat style got more and more weird as it went on, more experimental. And I don't know, I like blacked out. And then like an hour later, right as I decided to go to bed, I realized, I was like, what the fuck am I even watching? And I looked down and it's a video called Dreams of Goa Trance. And it was like with these Roland operator things. And it's this, like, I don't know, this guy in his 50s. He's got like a beer belly or something. You can't really tell what he looks like. And he's in like the middle of a field just with these 3 things like on a piece of styrofoam. And he's just like has his phone recording him. And he's like, you know, making this trance beat or whatever, like really basic, weird, like electronic music. And that's just what I ended up watching. I watched like 6 minutes of it and was like, yeah, this is fucking it.
How did you black out for an hour? Did you like get into some weird wormhole? Where
I have no idea. I just was clicking on stuff and was just like listening to it. And then it got so weird. And I just got to one where I was like, this isn't what I was originally listening to. And
some random hippie in a field?
Some random old guy in a field with these electronic beat maker things.
Bro was like,
recording himself off his phone, like shitty 4080p quality. And then I realized, I was like, dude, I need to go to bed right now.
Was it like
a
dude that misses the 70s too much type vibe?
Something like that.
Or wait, what was the Summer Love, like 79 or whatever?
Something, I don't know what it was, but it was like that weird electronic trance music, like very simple beat, you know, just repeating over and over and over again, but it was like 6 minutes of it.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Were you stoned when you did this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was right before bed, dude.
Ew.
Yeah, it was, and so like it always happens, like I go to a weird side of YouTube, and I'll spend like an hour not knowing where I'm going, and then I come to again, like, how the fuck did I even get here?
See, I enjoy like the conspiracy side more than just random stoned hippie side of things. Jesus. You were like, all right, something funny, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it was funny because I realized, why the fuck am I doing this? It's like, I need to go to bed, and I just wasted a whole hour going down these, like, why would I would never watch these videos, and I just like ended up here all of a sudden. But that's the thing, is I would though.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was I had a little adventure on YouTube.
At least you're having an adventure on YouTube. My fucking algo sucks. Like, there's just like literally nothing good coming up. I mean, there's a lot of Fallout shit because I've been obviously going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But even then, it's just like the algo has been lacking. That or just
really,
or the creators that I follow just aren't putting shit out.
My algo's been on fire lately.
My Twitter algo was good for a little while, and then it just turned into like.
Yeah, well, you know.
And now, like, I can't even go on Twitter.
The algorithm
it's literally just
likes to push, you know, tits and ass on the timeline all the time.
I mean, I get it. There's a lot of goblins that probably sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm on this."
Oh, for sure, yeah, dude.
Scrolling.
freaking internet goblins out here like
Yeah.
sweating and huffing and
Like it's basically like
beating their meat.
pre-gaming to like opening your private browser essentially.
Yeah, well, it's insane because like there's motherfuckers out there like all sweaty. They're like pre-gaming on the Instagram timeline, like
Yep.
like in the pant, like not pants not off all the way, but like hand in the pants, like fucking around a little bit.
No. It's not even that. It's literally like the slight rubbing over the pants.
Oh, over the top, yeah, like holding the shape, you know what I mean? Yeah. Palming it in your hand, like you're grabbing a bottle of liquor or something, and like you're holding it in the bag, but it's like you can't see the liquor bottle. It's like it's in there,
Like you're in the streets drinking a malt liquor, just like
palming a cold can.
gripping that shit
through the bag, feeling the shape of it. Dude, we're sick in the head, but yeah, it's like you get to that point, and then finally it's like those goblins get to the point where it's like it's too much. Mm-hmm. It's too much stimulation,
and then they gotta
they end up spending like 45 minutes cranking their.
Question: that hippie dude in the middle of the fucking, how many views did he have? Was he popping?
I don't know, it was like 16,000 views or something.
Wow, there's a lot of weirdos.
Just
out
over 10,000 views. Dude, there was like 45 comments of people being like, I love your Goa trance. Sick mix. This was awesome. So dope. It's like, wow.
I don't even know.
Congrats for that guy.
I don't want to get in trouble. I don't even know what. There's trans music now. I didn't know that.
Trance.
Oh.
Trance. Trance, you fucking idiot.
Bro, you know me. I'm not listening to that shit. I don't think I listen to any type of. That's why I stopped hanging out with like people we used to know.
Oh yeah.
Because like I just don't fuck with like house music or electronic music. It literally just sounds like someone put on like the worst Spotify playlist you could think of and just let it play. Not discounting that person's talent or talent that I just can't pursue.
It's just not something you're into.
But it's just not something I'm into.
Yeah.
That's all they played at those parties, and I was like, bro, I'm not coming out.
I feel it.
I'm
I
done
mean,
with this.
it was like that in the not the Latona house, but the place before. So everyone in the friend group listens to EDM or all that other stuff.
Dropping acid and shit. Of
Of course. Like that's the thing. That's just the thing you do, and everybody would go out to those raves or events over the weekend, and I would be the only one at home when they would leave because they would all be listening to that type of music. And it's like that's not something that I care about necessarily. Unless it's jungle, I don't really care.
I see. I don't even know what jungle is.
It's just like a niche.
I think of monkeys when you say jungle, and we've already established.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't bring it up.
Hey, bro, I'm not going to no jungle, dog.
You're just like, it makes you mad thinking about it. Like,
imagine this. You're like, dude, we're gonna go here. I'm like, all right, I'll go there one time. I get dosed on accident, and all I see is just monkeys. But like a lot of like electronic music.
You would
playing,
not be my friend anymore.
Just in my face, just boom, boom, and I'm just like,
no, get the monkeys off me.
Worst case scenario, like just a bunch of monkeys
the
looking at me.
The worst trip on acid you could have had, like the first and last time.
Wake up with like 6 different banana peels on me, like.
It's like in the grocery store, sleeping on the bananas, like ass out.
Yeah. You're like, who the hell
you have
is
no
this
concept of reality.
Like the local Walmart or something.
Yeah,
just high population.
It would be normal at the local Walmart. I'm thinking more like Sprouts or something.
Somewhere where like the
or Trader Joe's, where like you actually see people you know.
Yeah, and that store's little, so everyone saw it.
Everyone knows everybody at that store. Yeah.
I've actually been meaning to get their trail mix from Trader Joe's. That's fire.
That shit's fire, huh?
Like obviously it's not good for you, but it's good.
It's
not good for you at all. It's amazing.
Is the one is the one with the M&Ms in it?
No, it's the one with the
or the chocolate chips.
It has I believe they're like peanut butter chips, and then it's the one with like the little like white chocolate chips.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And like just the mixture. I'd say the nut mixture. That just sounds horrible though.
Jesus.
It's great.
Fucking animal.
What else is good with you?
Well, just my nose bled like crazy yesterday.
I saw that.
Because it was freaking cold out, and then it was like, for the first time, it was warm inside. And then when I stepped outside, it was cold. And like I could feel the cold air go straight into my nose, and I was like, I bet you my nose is going to start bleeding. And then I felt like it was running, and I said, oh, those are just the boogers from it being cold all of a sudden. I got in my car, and like I felt the drop was like very heavy, and then I like swallowed.
Ew.
And I tasted iron. So I was like, oh, my nose is going to start bleeding. And so I waited for it to drip so that I could get the picture, and then I wiped it off.
Dude, one
Yeah.
of the times that like you had a very profuse face period is we were at B-Dubs, and I remember seeing you bleed onto like the little like tray thing, the little with the brown
Oh
paper.
yeah, I was eating and like minding
and
my
next to
business.
the fries too.
Yeah.
And I felt really bad because I looked away, and then you tried to hide it from me because you thought I was actually feeling some type of way about it.
Yeah,
But I was
yeah.
like, dude, do your thing. You're the one bleeding from the face. And like, and then like, I mean, obviously that was you being a really cool friend trying to hide it. And then like while you were kind of looking away doing it, I was staring right at you. It was like a car crash, and you just can't help but look. I'm just like.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
I've
mean,
never
it's
had
random. It's random. Like people don't expect you to just start bleeding out the face like that. So
Yeah.
I think it
DeAndre
was, like,
said
all
that
my food
they
and
don't
shit.
hurt though.
No, they don't
Or,
hurt
like,
at all.
anything. And I'm
No,
like-
you don't. The thing is, you don't really feel it until the blood's already coming out,
Mhm.
and it just feels like a really thick, heavy booger. But it moves faster than what you think a booger would move,
Yeah, because it's normal fluid, right?
because it's just a normal fluid and it's thicker. So, yeah, I knew instantly. Like the second I like went outside and felt my nose running hard, and I was like, "Ah, it's blood."
The thing is you know what really gets me going, and not in a good way. It just really like grosses me out.
What?
Is blood in any type of nasal passages? Like you can
Oh,
feel
yeah.
it's there. Like you know when you're sick and you're like blowing your nose a lot, and like there's like blood in the tissue, or like, do you ever get that where like you get just stuff stuck over there and you like, kind of like, get it out? And it's just,
Oh,
like, it just
oh,
looks
yeah.
like a.
It looks like a ball.
It looks like a. Yeah, I don't know.
It's
It literally looks like a undeveloped like.
it's blood infused phlegm.
Yeah, it literally looks like your face had a miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh.
When I had COVID last year, I had towards the end was blowing my nose a lot, so my nose was very dry,
Mm-hmm.
and it was around, I think it was like Thanksgiving-ish time, somewhere around there is when I had it, and it was cold out, so my nose was getting cold, it was getting chapped because I kept blowing my nose, it kept getting stuffed up, and I was bleeding a lot, dude. Like, my nose was bleeding almost every day, and I remember like at the end when I finally started coughing out the chunks of phlegm that were like
Yeah.
lodged in there, and my nose was bleeding. A lot of them would be like almost solid, and like they looked like veins, but it was just
Yes.
a solidified blood
Yes.
like in there. It looked like a membrane.
Yeah.
It was thick, and yeah, they were bloody. You know, because I would be swallowing my blood.
It's
or whatever.
honestly what I would think a human looks like at like 12 weeks or something.
Yeah, it looks like a little undeveloped embryo.
Are they called zygotes?
Zygotes? No, zygotes are. I think it's past the point of. No, that's mitosis.
I'm so bad at this.
I think they are called zygotes, but the process of them splitting is called mitosis.
Okay.
Yeah,
And look up what a zygote looks like.
yeah.
It's probably a pretty wicked thing to look up, right?
Probably a little bloody mass of cells.
Okay. No, zygote's better looking than what I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, see, it's just a little circle with the two split pieces inside.
And then the embryo's the other one.
Embryo.
Hey, don't worry about it that I typed in embryo EM and then an Emma Watson popped up.
Jesus, brother.
Don't worry about it.
What's
Oh,
going-
an
what's going
embryo is
on
where it
with
already
your
looks like a
search
little
history?
dinosaur.
Yeah, well, the embryo is when it starts to look like a little fish. We develop the same way as some type of fish on this earth. We look very similar at certain weeks of development, and then we end up growing obviously into a human.
Is it me or does an embryo look like a side character in like a funny like TV show? Look, he has little ribs.
Yeah, dude, it's a little
Look at
human.
his look at
It's
his
a little human,
look at his
bro.
little legs.
Yeah, it's a little human.
Dude, that is so insane. Honestly,
Yeah.
I feel bad for any percent of like female viewership. They're probably like, these dudes are, or at least me.
I mean,
he's
it's been
dumb.
well established in earlier episodes that we're pretty fucking stupid.
Oh my God, look at him. Look at the little.
Dude, there's the size of they start off the size of a pearl, and then, you know, they start growing to about the size of like I don't even know, a messed up tater tot or something. Small potato.
I think this is yeah. So I seen a video once where this guy cracked open an egg,
Yeah.
and what he did was
Did he incubate it but keep the top sealed
yeah
with the
yeah
saran
with
wrap?
saran wrap,
Yeah.
and then like you literally see the chicken grow from like
Yep.
literally just a clump of cells.
Yeah,
to
and all he does
basically
is
this.
he injects certain proteins and stuff
Yeah.
into the water so that it has the nutrients it needs to grow. Because these eggs, if they're not pasteurized, I think that's the thing. If they're like natural organic eggs,
Mhm.
and you get one that has the veins in it starting to develop, that you can save those and actually grow real chickens from them.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
People also can do it from you can do it a certain way with store-bought eggs, but I think there's a specific way that you have to do that. But yeah, you can get chickens from regular eggs, bro.
Dude, but I mean,
Like, we can
obviously
make 'em
that's
right
basically
now.
what your face like would sneeze up, right? Except
Yes,
a little more red.
yeah, exactly. Except the yellow stuff around
Is more red.
was more red, yeah, and then the veins that we're looking at in this egg picture were dark, like maroon colored.
Hey, so I don't. Let me know if we've talked about this on the pod before, but I've always said, like, think about it. If that dude was able to make the chicken from that egg that was already open, and then, like, educationally, we all got to see it, which, like,
Right.
historically, let's be real, no one has really seen that. Probably,
Yeah, no one
unless you're,
really
like, a
has the
scientist.
insights to that
Yeah.
type of stuff anyways.
So how long till humans, like, in the future, where, like, you kind of deposit, like, your girl's egg, your sperm, into, like, basically, like, think of, like, a Star Wars back to
yeah.
tank.
Well,
And it just hangs out in the house.
there's
And it
actually
just fucking, like, it makes a child, like, clearly, like,
yeah, it's called an artificial womb, and they have those now.
yeah, but, like, think about it, like, where it's, like, normal, where, like, everybody has a fridge, everybody has a stove.
Oh, and then you have the baby
and then you
incubator.
have the back to tank with the incubator. And then you can go look at the child, you know, like, almost like it's a fish.
Right.
And
As
then
if,
eventually
so
you get to
in
see
that
it.
case, it's like as if the woman no longer has to, carry the baby full term in her body. They now have this artificial womb in which both parents can participate in and, like, see the child develop and all that
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
In
Where
the
it's
future,
like, it's still
yeah.
your guys' stuff, but
it'll-
now,
yes.
now we're mitigating, like, possible, like,
surgery or all that
surgery,
stuff, complications, things like that.
women dying during childbirth,
Right.
you know, like, the umbilical cord getting wrapped. Like,
Mm-hmm.
would that be a concept, do you think? Obviously, it would be, like, the mega rich, and then over time, it would be everybody, you know?
Yeah, I would see something like that happening. There's some scientists, I forget what country they're doing this in. It could be China or somewhere, I don't know. But they have these artificial wombs now. They're like they look like vacuum sealed sacks, and they have a bunch of, like, how do you call it? Like, attachments for tubes to, like, go in there and stuff like that. They get attached and send nutrients to whatever they're growing. And they've allegedly, I don't know if it's true or not, but allegedly, they were able to raise a baby calf or a sheep or something like that
I
from
think it was.
from, like, just the cells inside of this artificial womb, and they created the environment needed for that to develop perfectly. So the video that I've seen, or it's like a 7-second clip or something like that, is of the baby goat or deer, I don't know what the animal was, a small little animal, and it was in the sack, like, as if it was still in the womb, and it was like kind of twitching and, like, breathing, and it was alive, like fully
Yeah.
alive,
Doing exactly what it would do, just not in its mom.
exactly, just outside of the mom's body. So yeah, what you're saying, I could definitely see humans doing that in the future, where, like, it's a service that's allowed, or it's a service that's available to the mega rich, and those people will probably be like, okay, with the other things that technology has now. So I'm guessing at that point in the future, you would probably have more accurate gene therapy,
Yeah.
where you could select certain genes or get rid of certain gene types that you may have. Maybe there's a gene in your DNA that's, like, a trigger for Alzheimer's or schizophrenia, maybe,
Yeah.
or, like, some sort of cancer. And it's like, let's say it's in your bloodline, right? So it's like a part of your DNA.
Yeah.
With gene therapy, you're able to, you can change your kid's hair color, you can change your kid's eyes, you can, do this and that and the other. And so that's why I wouldn't put it past the mega rich to be able to have facilities like that in the future, where they can have that option of the mom doesn't even have to carry the baby to full term. They can just donate the egg, and the dad donate the sperm, and then they make it in a artificial chamber, and then that's how you have your baby.
And the thing is, it's like, people already do, like, what are they called? Not donors.
Surrogates?
Surrogates.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's say two gay men wanted to have
or not even
child.
that. It's like, literally, they take the egg from the woman, sperm from a dude, and they put it into someone that's, like, getting paid to carry child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I was thinking of a specific scenario where that would happen. But yes, you're right. Like, anybody can do it, right?
Because, like,
surrogate
to
is a
me,
thing
obviously,
anybody.
with the man and the woman, like, that makes more sense. Whereas, like, two gay men, you'd have to choose
Well, that's
someone's
what
sperm,
I'm
and
saying, yeah.
it wouldn't be some, like, technically, yeah, I guess it is your child because,
But
like,
it
it's
wouldn't
yours.
be your
but
child.
biologically, it would not be your child. You know what I
Right,
mean? Just
right.
like same thing with, like, two gay women, where, like, you'd have to choose some random dude. So
You'd
you
have
guys
to-
are both
exactly,
like
right.
that dude.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that makes more sense.
You could do it that way.
Oh no, because then it's the same way. Because then it would be biologically actually one person's child, and then just like by property or by legally the other person's.
Yeah, right.
That
So it
makes
would
sense.
be half one person's child. But I see what you mean with like regular, couples, like a man and a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the woman can't have babies, or maybe the man's sperm count is low or something like that.
Yeah.
One of them has a problem, whatever. But they find a surrogate who says, hey, if everything checks out and we check all the boxes with it being possible, then if you pay me, I will have your child.
Yeah.
Like that's been way more popular nowadays.
Do you think that like when it gets super normalized, because obviously like it would be able to remove more of like biological error? Do you think that like it'd be one of those things where it's like, oh, we're gonna do it the natural way, so it'd be like weird to go like, dude, you see that she's getting actually pregnant, like,
It could be. I mean,
wouldn't that be kind of weird?
it's weird how society evolves over time in terms of deciding what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable. I could see a future where, for whatever reason, you have people trusting. Not that science is bad, but you have more people believing in the artificial, womb theory, or let's just say womb process. And maybe the success rate is higher over time. Let's just assume. And let's just also assume that
Everybody
these
has the access to it.
that everyone can have access to it, and that these artificial births are allowing people to have, smarter children, more athletic children. Like, let's just say that somehow or another, society has seen the benefits of artificial wombs versus natural birth.
Yeah.
And then in this scenario, we assume that, the world is going in that direction instead. I could still see how, yeah, the majority of people would probably choose the artificial womb and gene therapy and all that shit, whatever. But I can also see, because religion is still a thing, and you still obviously have people that are very devout
For
to
sure,
their
for sure.
religions. I feel like you would still see natural births in the world, but it would be, in either third world countries only, or in lower income regions, or very select areas where people are either Christian or whatever religion that they believe in.
That'd be an
You know what I
interesting
mean? So like
that'd be like an episode of some type of like
Black Bear or something.
yeah, something.
Like,
That'd be interesting.
and the twist would be the people who are born naturally are deemed dirtier than the people born.
No, for sure. I could see that.
in the
like,
artificial
an elitist
wombs.
mentality on that. Yeah.
So like there could be a wall. I don't know. This is now a dystopian scenario, but
yeah.
let's assume
You're going too far. You're going too far.
Right, but like you know what I mean.
We're going off topic.
You could see that, yeah, in the future, if it's good, and people can show that, hey, this is actually benefiting society in the long run. We're getting smarter people, more athletic people, like healthier people,
less like things that are going to go wrong
right
later in life.
Let's say the overall health
and then
starts increasing too.
The companies will be like, dude, retirement's at 120 years old.
We're gonna milk these. We're gonna milk these motherfuckers for 20 more years. They got 2 more decades of work time. What the hell?
That's insane.
Yeah.
But also, I could see that though. But like, obviously, we're two dudes that both don't have kids at all. And then I do know that some really enjoy being like pregnant, having the child. With them.
It's like I'm not a woman, so I obviously don't have no idea. But my mom was telling me that she had a very satisfying experience. Like having the baby. Obviously, she had trouble having kids, and I was an in vitro fertilized baby, so there's that.
He's from the 80s.
I'm technically, I was a frozen thing in 1989, and then I was used in 1994.
Hey, bro, this you? No. Points at the little
me
zygote
in a frozen ass tube, like I can't do shit about
it.
That's
okay. Some could say you were chilling.
Yeah, I was literally chilling. And but yeah, no, my mom was saying that she had a very satisfying experience.
Yeah, I hear a lot of women do. And like obviously they like having the child with them, and then after they give birth, like they feel kind of like not lonely, but kind of lonely because like now you're technically are by yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas for the first time ever, you're not by yourself, which I've never even thought about that. Notice no matter what, you've always been by yourself. Like if I put you out in that backyard, you're gonna roam around. You're by yourself.
Yeah, I'm just chilling.
If you're a pregnant woman, you're technically not by yourself.
No, because you have a thing with you.
That's insane.
At all times.
I've never thought about that.
Yeah, there's a thing inside you that you're literally incubating another person inside you.
Do you ever see like pregnant women in public, like really like pregnant women where they have the big like super like it looks like somebody just put a dodgeball underneath their shirt?
Oh yeah.
And you just go like you should be somewhere safe. Like out here in the world is crazy out here. Like
that's the stuff. Well, that's the thing. It's like nowadays everybody's got to just keep they got to keep participating. You can't take a day off
Yeah.
in this environment anymore. Whereas
Well,
like
well, at
back in
least
the
it's getting
day,
better now, where like maternity leave's getting longer for women, and
that's
then now
true.
like
Yeah.
more dudes like are
Yeah.
getting. I don't know, maybe if it's like we're getting older, but I think it's because society's moving. Like men get time off too, like paternity leave.
Oh,
Like
right.
my brother got time off,
Mhm.
and like which is really good, you know.
How
'Cause
long
it's
did
like
he even get off? Because I hear it's in the United States. I hear it's not as much as in other countries.
it's more so now.
Okay.
Well, obviously my brother's having kids, so now
Yeah,
like
yeah,
more
yeah.
so like
So
in
he's
that world.
experiencing it firsthand
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
So I think it is good now, but also it's like, dude, not only like I get like obviously the mom is the complete dependent for that child, you know, like that child needs that, you know, like he's
Exactly.
like she's everything to him. That
Yeah.
little food factory, little everything.
Without the mom, there's no baby.
Yeah, and so, but I think it is good now that we have dads being able to spend more time with their kids too.
Yeah, it's good because you need that both people in there.
Yeah.
For I mean, obviously, like there are situations where a child is raised without the father in the picture, and
Mhm.
like they end up, to be normal. But I don't know. I don't know the full percentages of that, and like what are the odds that the kid's gonna be normal? I mean, nobody's 100% normal because we're all
I would say
weird
that's a
animals.
totally
But
different like conversation though. That's going into like lacking a parent. Whereas
yeah.
like I was just talking about more that like dads are getting more time off, you know.
Oh yeah, but that's good. That's a good thing though
Yeah.
because the dad's having more time off is good for the kid
Like dude
anyways.
wants to spend time with his family too, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. The dude doesn't want to be stuck at work 100% of the time when,
Yeah.
the mom's at home raising the kids by herself. Like, it's really nice, I think, that people are understanding how valuable it is for the dudes to have time off also when it comes to having a baby.
Do you think there would be some more so disconnect if people were saying like having like tube baby like artificial womb babies where it's like you get home and you know stare at the little thing growing and then you're like, oh, this is cool.
Um,
Do you think there'd be more of a disconnect or no?
I don't think so. I think the opposite, actually. I think something like that may make the parents almost, not that they don't value the life, obviously, because it's like their baby, so
Hmm.
it's their thing, right? But I think seeing it grow, there's a difference between like just seeing the belly grow and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden the child's here.
Yeah.
There's a disconnect of like you don't really see what's happening. But I feel like if the dad were to, I think it would affect the dad differently in the sense where if you come home every day and you see your baby growing, like
Yeah.
in a tube, right? And you can see the progress every single day, I think that would more positively affect the male,
Ooh, I could see that.
because it would create more of a stronger bond because because dudes have to see shit, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah. Dudes are visual when it comes
dudes
to
are
most
visual
things.
learners.
Like let's be visual learners, sexual
Exactly.
visual, like
So
XYZ.
so when I see something like in a thing that like, oh my God, like
It makes it real.
it makes it so much more real because you're literally looking at it develop in real time. It's not like
Ooh.
it's behind a sheet and you're not really seeing the stuff happen. So I think it would be the opposite actually. Yeah, I think the parents would find more attachment to their babies if they can see it like it full on developing inside of a bacta tank or something like that.
Do you think it might negatively affect the woman though? Because I feel like obviously the time you get to spend with the
Yeah,
child.
I think there's also that, there's pros and cons to everything,
Yeah.
obviously, but I think it's naturally important to me, anyways. I'm obviously not a woman, so my opinion is whatever. But I think when a woman has a child naturally in that scenario, they obviously like would have more attachment to the baby because the baby is only growing and alive because the mother is providing the nutrients for
Yeah.
the baby, and the you know the mother feels the baby growing inside them and has that physical and emotional attachment to it.
Hmm.
So I think that there would be problems arising from that because it's always been like that.
Yeah.
The mother has always delivered the
Ooh,
baby
yeah.
and
Would that
had the
have like a
baby.
psychological negative effect?
Yeah, so that's, now that you bring that up, that's a good.
Ooh,
I think
interesting.
there would be a lot of either postpartum. I don't know. I don't remember the full term, but like post
It's like
giving birth depression,
yeah.
that women already deal with.
Hmm.
I think that would be a challenge because for on the women's side there would be that disconnect of I'm not fully carrying the child, so there's no physical attachment to it.
Yeah.
There may be emotional attachment because you're seeing it happen, but I think because the baby's removed from that physical environment, it may change the way the women perceive the baby. That could also be a thing too.
Yeah, I could see that.
Right.
And it would obviously be something so outside of their genetic makeup, our biology, that it would be maybe have negative effects. Unless you're one of those people where you're like, I'm okay with this 100%.
Yeah.
Like the people that are already doing surrogates, but also like, I guess you could even say like,
I mean,
I don't know.
I wouldn't say that every person would go insane and they wouldn't like it. I think there would be a small percentage of people that obviously suffer those issues psychologically, if that were to be the thing. But yeah, I don't know. That's a tough question because you do have a lot of people nowadays that are okay with the detachment of having that baby via a surrogate or whatever. So I wouldn't put it past a undisclosed majority of people, a percentage larger than 50, that would, if you were to give them a survey, they would answer, it's not going to affect me.
Yeah.
I think there'd be
But
a
also
good
there's
chunk
answering
of
a
people.
question and then there's it being the reality,
Yeah, but you have to take the data sample somehow.
Yeah.
It'd be a longer thing over time to figure out if it was really true. But I think there would be, there would be positive and negative effects. You can't just, from something like that, you can't just have only positive effects. But then again, like, I just don't know.
I wish we
Don't
had
know
like
fully.
a girl in the pod right now. That'd be interesting. Give her
Yeah,
perspective.
it'd be very interesting to get a woman's perspective on this and how they would feel about seeing their baby growing in a tank. Yeah, It's an interesting concept because it's like something that's so. It's like we're pretty much there now. You know what I mean? Like we're getting to the point where it's like this could become a daily occurrence for humans. Because
Yeah,
they're doing tests for animals. But
I'm way far off though. I'd feel like, say a human race does survive, I would say maybe give that like 150 years.
I'd say within 50 years, we could have technology like that.
Oh, we could have it, but it's not going to be the norm. Like
No, it won't be the
everyone
norm.
has
No.
a microwave.
Not. It won't be the norm. I agree with you. It won't be.
Yeah.
It won't be the norm right off the rip. But
Because aren't they cloning shit out in Korea?
yeah, they already have.
Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think the technology will be there sooner than we expected, but I don't think that it'll be a majorly accepted way to have
No,
babies
definitely
until
not.
in the future. Let's say for whatever reason, there's some issues that are unforeseen, and like having babies outside the womb is now like the way to do it because
or
of
in
whatever.
some weird way, it like shortens the lifespan for some reason, and
who
we
knows?
don't know why.
Who knows? Like, we could try to have a generation of kids born in artificial wombs, and then they have all sorts of problems later down the road, and then they ban it.
Or when people start modifying things and you're getting like 7-foot tall humans for no reason.
Yeah, you're getting literal Nephilims being born.
Oh, that's a good word.
Nephilim is a literal giant. It's like the Bible's word for giants.
Oh, really?
Yes, because giants are real. Like, I'll go off for an hour on giants, but giants are like actually real.
Okay, so I've seen the thing where they found those big bones in the hills,
Mhm.
in those mountain hills.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Like, I think it'd be cool the fact that like they'd be well, you know me, I'm like, who doesn't like The Hobbit? Who doesn't like the fucking Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like when you play a video game? There's different species or races of people. Like, I think that shit is cool,
Yeah.
But like, like why? Like, do you believe that those were actually real? And like, if so, why would they have died off? The only theory is that they lack of food.
Well, that's one of the main reasons that could explain a die off. I think I don't think I feel in my heart that giants did exist on this planet at some point,
Okay.
but it was probably very long ago, and I think that if they did exist and they were not around anymore, the reasons being was giants existed, but they were rare. They were oddities, and they did exist as a subsect of humans because that gene was probably more prevalent back in the day for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that there were more events where giants were born and they existed in society, but I don't think it was enough for them to like create their own country or their own government or anything like that. I just think that around the world there have been many cases where giants were born and they lived and then died. But I don't think it was like we shared the planet half giants, half regular people, and then the regular people somehow exterminated all the giants. I don't think it was anything like that. I think
I've
it
seen
was
those theories where people think.
yeah, I think it was just like the chances of someone being a giant, like 8 foot tall, you know what I mean, or 8 to 9 feet tall. I think the chances of something like a person like that being born may have been a little higher than it is now because now like there's weird eugenic things going on and people breed a certain way, and you know what I mean, like things like that. Maybe genes die off over time and then you never see giants anymore.
Do you think they were like, obviously this is pure speculation, like which it's random.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think they would be like big, like kind of slow moving people, or do you think they were like kind of dumber? Like, what do you think the whole thing?
I don't think they were
giants
necessarily dumber. I think it was just back in the day, the gene sequence available to create a larger person was more prevalent than it is now. And I think because of natural selection, those genes just gradually died off, and you just don't see people like that anymore. You do see individuals that are 6'8", 7'1", and those are like even more rare nowadays,
Yeah.
but they're all skinny and lanky. So like genes
And
change
they always
over
die. Most part, they usually die pretty early because the heart has to pump so much more.
They do so much more work.
Whereas
to pump blood.
I feel like those giants, let's say if they were real, if those bones are real, like I have very limited knowledge. Whereas like their shit was actually built for that size. Whereas like a human heart and everything is not meant for someone that's 7'5" or like Shaq size. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they had to consume so much more than the average person, so it was harder for them to live longer, I would say.
Unless it was like that actual species of
right.
Would you call them
Nephilims?
Nephilims? Unless they were actually like their heart was actually made for like a person that was that big.
Yeah, well, I think that those giants, they were made in every like their whole anatomy was normal, but they were just bigger.
Yeah,
like they were just 3 feet bigger than everybody. They were just huge humans.
Like a small, like you're kind of like doing your little like going through the mountains or whatever, and you see like a Nephilim child where it's like that's a really big child. You're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, and then you realize it's like a 10-year-old.
The mom comes by and goes, time to go. You're like, oh fuck.
You're like, shit, that's an 11-foot tall woman. Like that's crazy.
Oh, dude, I'd be happy.
But
I'd be
I think
what? Pick me up. Let's go.
Put me in your pocket. Let's
put me in your pocket. I'm hanging out.
Yeah, you're just hanging onto one big thigh as you're like walking through the mountains. But I mean, I think that I definitely believe in them, and I think that like, obviously religious text is open to interpretation any type of way, but there's a lot of references to Nephilims in the Bible and old Sumerian texts and the Epic of Gilgamesh and a lot of scrolls that were found that were, more than 3,000, 4,000 years old. There's countless stories of Nephilims being on this earth with us. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way all these bones are being found and they're just being placed there at the right place at the right time. That I just can't believe that they're fake. The other theory behind the Nephilim are that, more than 6,000 years ago, so how do I say it without sounding super insane? But basically, when we were Homo sapiens, like way back in the day, there was an alien civilization that supposedly came to Earth, and they were, tall, kind of humanoid creatures. Yeah. And their children, which were the Nephilims, they were deemed the protectors and rulers of the earth, right? So they were like kings, and that's where royal bloodlines started and all that stuff. So these giant peoples were sent down to Earth as protectors and guardians and like rulers of the earth to like control the little people. And the purpose for that was we were basically engineered. So the Nephilim bred with Homo sapiens basically to make what we are now. So we're half Nephilim, half Homo sapiens. And we were basically bred a certain way to be a slave race in order to get gold for the aliens that came down and needed gold on our planet. They didn't want to mine it themselves. So they created this new creature called the humans or whatever to mine the gold. And that for whatever reason was, quote unquote, the purpose for the Nephilim. But the Nephilims, seeing the humans, were like, we want to breed with them. So they made more Nephilims on the planet. And the aliens were like, you can't do that. We need the slaves to stay slaves. You can't breed with the slaves.
Wait, hold on. So where did all this come from?
Basically, it's the Anunnaki. It's Planet X. There's a hidden planet in our solar system. It's just some weird conspiracy theory saying that these aliens came to Earth and brought their children with them to rule Earth, and those children were the giants originally.
Yeah. I get it.
That's how they ended up on Earth. But that's besides the point. The point is, giants were just basically people that had a gene that made them grow 2 feet taller than the regular person.
Or do you think that people thought like normal size, like technically, I guess I could be a giant back in the day at 6'2", considering that humans back in the day, like what a tall man was 5'5", maybe even less.
No,
Like if you're talking way back in the day.
way back in the maybe, yeah.
'Cause think about it. Humans
were
have
pretty
only
small.
gotten bigger. Like
Yeah.
humans were. What is that little woman? I never remember her name. She was like 3 foot something, but she was really old. And like the theory is that she got picked up by a bird and dropped, and that's how she died. But it's like the smallest like full grown adult women bones that we've ever found.
It's like 3 feet.
I
3
forget
and a
her
half
name.
feet.
But yeah, think about it. If she's 3 feet, a male is like 3.5 feet.
Four
almost
feet maybe. Yeah.
Like, 4 feet's really like. Have you actually stood next to? How tall are you?
I'm 5'5" exactly.
Have you stood next to a person that's 5 foot
Yes.
and you're like,
Dude, my mom is 4'11", and it's like, whoa, you're small.
okay, we've talked about this. Remember when I've talked to like your mom in the hallway? We're talking about tea that one time.
Oh
She
yeah,
talked
you were
about milk tea?
like
I felt
staring
like
down.
I felt like I had to like step back just because like
You were looking down, like
yeah. I was literally like
bending your neck down to talk to my mom.
yeah, and like isn't that kind of funny? Where it's like if you didn't really know as an alien, say you came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using alien as a sense of like
Yeah. Something
extraterrestrial.
foreign, yeah, whatever.
You look down and go, how you like how did I clarify that? How you look down, you go, yeah, no, those aren't the same species.
It's like we're pretty close, but they're not the same.
Yeah,
You know?
he's tall and dark. She's little and lighter
Right.
skinned. Because your mom's lighter skinned, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, wouldn't you kind of be like, what? Those are the
You'd
same.
be a little
species?
confused.
Yeah,
It's like-
you'd be a little confused. Be like, where is he from? Where is she? from?
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I think the more logical explanation for those bones is just over time, or in the past rather, that the chance of a human being born like that was higher because the genes allowed it. The gene pool allowed it at that time. It was not as intermixed as as it is now. And I think that, nature is just weird like that. You know what I mean? Like think of the like people with Down syndrome, like they're unique in their way. They're all born with the same set of chromosomes that are different than ours, but they're still a human, you know what I mean?
And it's interesting that they have like the same, not look, but they always kind of look like they're related just because of the way the genes line up.
Exactly.
It's almost like calico cats or whatever, right? Or
They all
kind of
calicos all kind of look the same.
all look the
and
same,
you can
and they're
tell they're a
usually
calico.
all woman cats.
Exactly.
Female cats.
Right. So like think of it in that light where, there are various types of humans on this world.
Mm-hmm.
The genes nowadays currently allow for X amount of variations to happen. So imagine several thousand years ago when these dudes were around or people were around, the gene pool must have looked way different.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
and
that's why
especially
I
there
think
was more like how obviously like they say that by a certain time most people are just going to be kind of like a beige color or whatever.
Yeah.
Just because of like interbreeding.
Yeah.
Whereas like clearly, I guarantee you looked at places maybe 100 years ago even. Like you go to one area and more of them are like another. Kind of like how in the UK most people kind of like have that same look or whatever.
Look, yeah.
And then like certain parts of like the Middle East, people look away. Certain parts.
Right.
Of, like,
Everyone
Africa,
has that unique style to their race, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking that I think the gene pool just allowed for more of those types of humans to be born back then, and then over time because of natural selection and because of the difficulties it would be for someone that big to breed with someone so small, and like political implications of the time or geographic implications of the time. Who knows, right? Maybe because of that natural selection that those genes were just no longer around anymore, and then now the odds of that happening are so small that now you only get people that are like 7.5 feet tall, maybe 7 feet tall, and they play basketball for a little bit and they die of some weird, cancer or bone problem or something like that. Heart problem, something. Damn. So that's what I think happened. I think Nephilims were real, but I just think that
you think they were just naturally organically big, or do you actually believe that Planet X that they like?
No, dude. I think they were just naturally.
It's just a fun little thought.
I think it's just a fun thought, but I think more logically, I think they were just regular people that just because of the gene pool that was around back then and just how it happened, that there was a higher chance of those types of people being born, and then over time, because of natural selection, you just don't see them people anymore.
Yeah,
I think that's the most logical way to approach it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But it is strange that, a lot of these bones are found and then people are all hush hush about it, or they try to say immediately, oh, it's fake or it's been planted or something like that. It's like, why?
I just feel like that's like the climate today of like everybody has an opinion and a voice, and they're able to go on Twitter, even though not everybody should. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think I would
I mean,
find it
anybody can
fascinating.
say anything, but not everything is worth something.
Yeah. Like when we were in Berlin, and it was actually pretty interesting to see actual old, like Roman or Greek or like things that are from that era. Obviously, Germany.
Oh
All
yeah,
the good.
the masonry
If
and
you
the
want to,
roads and all that
go
stuff.
to like great museums, Berlin is the place. Other than that, I think Berlin, the city, was kind of mid.
Kind of mid.
Yeah. But like actually seeing the jewelry from those time periods, like the actual real helmets that actual soldiers put on their heads, like
Right.
clearly in movies they're done up to the nines, where it's like the chain looks like some dude made it with like thick. Whereas like I'm sure they've eroded a bit, but when you look at like those jewelry pieces, they're thin.
They're really small.
They're really small. They're very thin. Like you could literally just go like,
and break it.
and I guarantee that's what they did. They probably had to rebend like their jewelry back.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I don't know. It's because of erosion. Could be. It's gold. But like, obviously in movies you see the helmet and you see the helmet's like fucking thick and like it looks like it could withstand. Or like the necklace looks like it actually has plates.
Yeah,
Where it's like
you can tell that the for those movies or whatever timepieces that things were made with modern,
to
processes,
make it look more glamorous.
Whereas in those museums, you see the reality of the materials that were being used
Yeah.
for a lot of stuff, and it's like, holy shit, the difference is night and day.
Yeah, like how in movies like that key ring right there, that little thing.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah,
in the movie, that earring would be like that thick. In
Mhm.
reality, it was probably like a quarter that thick.
Right.
Where like you can see it,
Mhm.
But it was very interesting to see that. But now, don't get me started on like the architecture over in like the more European side, like
Yeah,
through there. That is insane.
it's wild. Like you think of how time has passed. You think about how time has passed differently for different civilizations on the planet, like the Greeks and the Romans. It's wild when you in today's time can go back to those places and see buildings that have still stood the test of time, and it's like it's been 3,000 years or however long those buildings have been there.
In all the places where they can financially sustain keeping those around, yeah. But I'm sure in like Athens and Greek areas where like you've
There's
seen
stuff that just
just
crumbles to
done.
time and gets lost to the
It's
things
sad to
just
see, really.
things just disappear if they're not upkept, obviously, and like there's only as time goes on, there's going to be less and less places like that.
Yeah.
But it's still crazy that we can go to those places that still exist today,
yeah.
and just see for a fact. It's like, dang, I'm so busy living my life that I don't have time to think about the fact that there was people in this spot 3,000 years ago, that were probably thinking of whatever was going on in their lives at the time.
Yeah.
And they were building these things like, oh, we're going to build it in a couple years and I'm going to use it for a couple years, and then I'm going to die at the age of 55 or something, and then who knows how long it's going to stand. And then 3,000 years later, our dumbasses come along with phones in our pockets,
Like,
listening to
"This is nice as
Spotify.
shit."
Yeah, they're like, oh, damn, I can't imagine living in this time.
Yeah. But I mean, clearly people are going to do that. Like,
To our buildings, hopefully.
let's just say even 200 years from right now,
Mhm.
I guarantee people are still going to be like, dude, can you imagine that their babies were inside of them,
Dude.
their phones were outside of them,
Mhm.
their car they drove on tires,
Or in 200 years from now, they're going to go like, what's electricity?
yeah,
What even is like a light bulb?
yeah,
Like, can you imagine? That would be even more insane. If we go 200 years in the future and like nobody has technology anymore, it's like all of a sudden 1880 again.
Oh, you're talking about like apocalypse, or something?
Like we regressed. Like there was enough apocalypse to where all technology was fucked over, but enough time to where people didn't know how to make it anymore.
Yeah.
And so they just went back to like the late 1800s.
Oh, don't get me started on the whole Fallout thing.
That'd be
That's
crazy.
basically what it's like. Because like think about it. Say like nuclear war happened or something.
Mm-hmm.
Say humans did survive, like it was a Fallout game or whatever, at
Sure.
some way. Like there would be literally a generation of kids that are like,
They have nothing.
there would be a generation, like say some survived, where it'd be like, oh, you lived before the war. What was that like? How would you honestly really describe society? Like obviously you go the cynical route, like, well, we were obsessed with this,
Well, yeah,
And then now you have kids that like
they have no
finding
concept of that.
non-irradiated water would be like that's normal to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd have to tell them stories about like we had jobs, we paid taxes to a government, we did this.
Right, there was a
but we
social-
still went on like we flew on planes because clearly if that happened, like there's gonna be no.
Oh yeah,
planes
no
for a
planes
while.
anymore. Yeah, for sure.
There'd be like massive boats that people used to go on and we'd enjoy ourselves. People would get drunk, do
Yeah,
this
you'd have to
X,
tell
Y,
them
and Z.
stories of like, oh yeah, there used to be these massive ships where you'd get 600 people, 700 people, and they'd spend 2 weeks on the water, like
Yeah.
drinking and then landing somewhere in the world and then having an excursion for 6 hours and then
Yeah.
getting back on the boat. Like, dude, these people would have no concept of
Yeah.
these extracurricular activities we had, all the freedoms we had. Like,
You'd tell them, yeah, there was this thing called Formula One, and they would build the most advanced cars, and they'd just race them.
right.
And they'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
They would have no idea. Literally no idea.
They have MotoGP. There's this thing called football.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it would be tough times for sure because you'd have to, you'd have one generation of people explaining to the younger generation like how much awesome shit they had, and that was taken away from them.
Yeah, yeah,
and then that new generation's like, so what you're saying is we got fucking robbed,
yeah.
which is
But also, it'd be one of those things where it's like, I feel like obviously our age group, like in theory, if you survived or whatever, like you'd be fine without your phone. Whereas, like,
Yeah.
say, like the little TikTok generation didn't have their phone, they'd be like, fuck.
that would they'd be sitting here like on like a
On the dirt,
on the dirt like swiping up like making a little rectangle and then like tapping on it like
drawing boobs in the sand and be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Or they have like a piece of wood that everyone pretends is an iPad.
Yeah.
Like everyone is under the same psychosis of like pretending this slab of wood is an iPad. Like it actually doesn't work, but
Yeah.
everyone in the town like gets a turn to use it, like to pretend with it.
Or they actually have just one that just got killed by the EMP blasts, but it just doesn't do anything.
You're like, they use it as like a religious icon.
Like you're sitting there quiet, and one guy goes, "Oh, I gotta charge the iPad." It's like not real.
ah!
yeah.
It's like, no, it's on 2%. It's like, bro, you're looking at a piece of wood.
Yeah, bro. That thing is. There's no back to that.
You see some dude like holding the fake iPad, like beating it under his covers. You're like, what are you doing down there? You like rip the cover over him, full cock in his hand, like piece of wood. He's pretending it has porn on it.
Yeah. Thoughts that he doesn't have. He's like, oh.
Getting caught red-handed with the wooden iPad.
That's terrible.
Yeah, dude was stroking his broad
Yeah.
broad daylight.
Bro was jerking his gherkin.
So bad.
So funny.
No, I mean, yeah, dude, the world is so weird. I think like it would be a weird era of, us talking about the past and then the new generation like being sad but also jealous that we got to experience stuff before the world went to shit. It'd be a really weird scenario, like having to explain our past lives basically,
Yeah.
even though
I
we're
think-
alive still.
I think it'd be one of those things where it would be kind of low-key freeing. Like,
Yeah, there's
think
no
about it. You would
attachment to
not
it.
have to worry about a whole lot of things, but then you'd have to worry about like food, like famine, droughts, like obviously like some type of raiders, like people that are gonna do bad because people will always do
People
bad.
will always do
but
bad
then
stuff.
people will always do good, you know.
Mhm, yeah.
But like there'd probably be kind of one of those things where some people would probably thrive in that like
New age.
Did you ever see the TV show The Last of Us? Obviously, it's a video game. I know everybody.
I have not. No.
Okay, so in like the second or third episode, it's actually a really good show. I thought it was done really well. Like, really well, honestly.
Mhm.
Where like he was like a prepper, and then like when the time the world went to shit, he had already had all his shit ready, and then he like built a fence around his neighborhood, this, that, and the other. He enjoys himself. He has enough food to sustain forever.
Yeah.
And like he was genuinely enjoying it. I guarantee that there are some people that will be like that too.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Even in like, I know you said you've been watching Fallout lore videos. There was this guy, I forgot his name. He like was in the Great War, did his thing, had to see atrocities, and so like when he had his family, what he would do is he'd like skip off to like the mountains to like for a couple weeks at a time, month at a time, whatever. And like he'd feel bad leaving his family behind, but then they knew that it was also like he had to do that for his mental health, right? So one of the times he was out in the mountains is when like the bombs went off.
Oh, so he lived.
And then so like he lived. Obviously, he felt bad that his family had died. And then there was an old couple that was in like a car next to him. Obviously, the EMP kills like the pre-wave to it, like the bomb kills electronics.
Oh yeah.
Just like a real explosion.
Yeah.
And he had like obviously like, oh yeah, don't worry, help is coming, because they were both blind. They were staring at it, and so he like put a bullet through their heads,
Oh
just to like
yeah.
put them out of their misery.
Uh-huh.
And then clearly he went back to the area where the house was at some point, saw that, buried them, felt better, came back to like the Zion area or whatever. And then he lived a life, lived in the cave. Like clearly he was built for that because survival was his thing.
Yeah.
And then clearly at some point he saw people come through the area, befriended one of them. He got one of the girls pregnant, she died in childbirth or whatever, and the kid didn't make it or whatever. And then like life went on. So it's a very interesting, cool story for you to be like, even though it's obviously a fake story, but like that could be the reality.
Yeah, it still shows, that's a very real situation.
I'll try to find the video. Honestly, it's really,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it because even though it's like obviously a fake story, but it's from like a video game that like you could play and like in game when you do download that
when you
DLC.
think about it, it's a very real situation. Like there's people that, they already live out in the wilderness. They're already like, know how to grow food and live on their own outside of society. Like they're plugged away from the matrix. Like those people are going to be the people that survive the apocalypse because they're already on their own. They already have the mentality of like, I got to do this on my own. I got to find my food. I got to find my water. I can build shelter. Like those prepper peoples, like they're going to be the ones that are most prepared for it because they're already in the mindset of like, I have to do this. Whereas like someone like you and me will have more trouble surviving in the wild if something like that were to happen. Let's say we made it out the city fine, and like we had our group of people and we're like, all right, we made it out the city, we have some supplies, like we got lucky enough to not be caught in the bullshit of people looting and killing each other in the city. We need to find some place and build shelter. You and I would have way harder time
honestly
than
I think
those outdoorsy people.
for sure.
Yeah, we're fucked.
But also even then, like, remember, I don't know if we talked about it already, but remember, like, if you'd see preppers back in the day, you're like, ha, loser,
yeah,
weirdo.
they would be labeled
But now you
as
see
insane.
them, and, like, as you get older, I don't know if it's because the world's getting just a little more wild, or if, like, our generation's just subject to the fact that, like, it could all go up at any time. Whereas, like, previous generations probably didn't really have it'll all go up at one time.
Yeah.
That you're like, okay, that person, that's normal. Like,
you can see it as something that's like, oh, that's understandable. I can see why they would do something like that.
yes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I think obviously when I get my own house and like my own area, my own bit of whatever, like I do want to have like extra supplies, medical, like aspirin, fucking canned goods that like don't expire. Like this, I think at Costco you can buy them. I think it's like a special order thing, but you can buy like things that
non-perishable items, and
it's like in a big box.
There's a lot of select stuff. Even at Vons too, there's a lot of select stuff that will genuinely stay good in the cans. So then you obviously, like I've seen, there was a lady on Twitter who was showing off her prep room. She had it was like a 4-bedroom house. You know what I mean? Like the kids probably didn't live there anymore, but she had one whole like pretty decent size, like 18 by 18 bedroom, which is Costco shelves, like not the orange and green ones, but the next level of Costco shelves where it's like the thick metal black ones, like similar ones to your dad got.
Yeah.
So she had shelves like that on all 3-4 walls, just filled to the brim with rows of identical items that she had bought.
Yeah, of course.
Like obviously more than 4 or 5 items of the same kind. And she was like, yeah, this is my prep room. I have 12 cases of bottled water. She had distilled water in jugs. She had like wipes and diapers and simple medicines, Tylenol, like bunch of canned food, bunch of other stuff. And I was like, damn, you go. Like that's freaking dope. But you would be prepared, Obviously I wouldn't show it off because now people are, if shit were to hit the fan and people knew about
you're a target.
You're a target.
And that's why you put your land somewhere nice. You buy your guns, like there'd be an arsenal room too. Like that would be one of my dreams.
For sure, you have to protect yourself.
Before I deleted TikTok, there was a dude that I followed. He just showed how he preps. And like he had those same type of shelves,
right,
the thick black ones, like they're like strong as hell.
Mm-hmm.
They're like literally. I was looking at the capacity, like those shelves that my dad put up. They're like 1,800 pounds. So like that means technically you and all your friends, if you guys could fit, you guys could all lay on the shelves, like bunk beds, and it would still hold you guys.
Yep.
But it was cool to see like the way he does it is, he keeps all the foods dated on like a little notepad, so he can see like, okay, these are gonna go bad first, so I'll actually use these today at like, the house.
That's pretty smart.
And then he'll re-up that same shelf with the same things. It's just to have a later
first in, first out, basically.
Because you don't want to do the whole like, say you bought like, let's just say cans of beans. I don't know why. Just say we got cans of beans, and they expire in like 2045, but then like they're kind of already at the expiration date when you maybe need them, rather than just buying the new cans every time. Like like you said.
First in, first out.
First in.
FIFO.
Yeah. Just. But like, it is really interesting to see that. And like, clearly a while ago, you'd be like, that person's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, that is a good idea. Like, anytime I tell someone older than me like that I want to go buy land somewhere.
Yeah.
Like they always go, that's a good idea. I'm like, yeah, I just want to get a decent little bit of land, build my like cabin / ranch, and then it's just an area for like anyone in my family. Anytime they want to, they can go stay there. They get the access codes or whatever. Like you're able to hang out there. Or like maybe when I get older, like you get tired of society or whatever.
All right, you just move out to the countryside.
Everyone I've said that now, they think it's a smart plan. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, because everybody wants to do that. Just nobody can cut the tie to the city.
Yeah.
And like get out.
Because modern society is so convenient.
Yeah, it's so convenient.
Vaughn's
so
is literally a
comfortable.
mile from right here.
We have our 15-minute cities in some places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the direction we're moving in. They just want everybody to live in these little small controlled areas and townhomes and stuff, and then you never have to go more than 20 minutes out of your area to get to anywhere you need to go. Yeah. All the resources you need are right there. It's like, no, dude.
It's very convenient for sure.
Sure, yes. It's very, very convenient. If that's the way you want to live, then by all means, live that way. You know what I mean? But at a certain point in the future, when I'm older, like, yeah, that's the goal, at least for me anyways. It's like eventually get to a point where you can have your little slice of land somewhere, mind your business,
have a nice truck.
Have a
like
truck or a garden and all that shit.
Like one of those nice four-door trucks, where like, when you get into those where you feel like you're in a living room, but it's driving. I know that sounds like pretty like country, but like I do want to be able to have that nice truck where you're like, you could possibly even raise a family in the truck.
Yeah.
It's a reliable vehicle.
You can tow whatever you need to tow.
You can tow what you need to tow, and then like have your little bitty of land. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, I got 100 acres. No, bro. Even if I had like 4 acres, which is a lot of land.
Yeah,
like,
still something.
You
can do a lot of stuff in 4 acres of land.
You can do a lot of stuff with 4
exactly.
acres of land.
Even if you just had 2 acres, that lot is fucking ginormous.
Yeah, let's look that up.
You could build like 3-4 houses on 2 acres of land, and still have a garden and a barn and all that stuff.
How do you spell acre?
ACRE. Acre.
See, that's why I fuck with you.
Yeah, because I know words. I know how to spell them.
43. Look at how much square foot that is.
43,000 square feet is 1 acre.
Okay, so that's like comparative.
So my parents' lot is
probably like a quarter acre.
It's 3,200 square feet. Or 3,300 square feet. So yeah, look at that. Like, if you build
that sounds about right.
2 acres of land, you can build
that's a lot of land.
You can build 4 houses, a barn, have a big yard, and have a garden.
What about my go-kart track?
You need 3 acres for that.
Yeah, dude. See, like, even if it's just like 2-3 acres or whatever, like ideally, like obviously you maybe want a little bit more, but still, like, if that's just for you and your people, like that's awesome.
Yeah, that's freaking great, man. You just build a little compound essentially. Have all your stuff within walking distance, and then self-sustaining little ecosystem you have on your property.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But the government doesn't like that. The government likes you being dependent on them so they can take advantage of you, steal your money through taxes. Yeah. Taxation is theft. Don't forget that.
Nice.
They don't need that tax money. In fact, you don't even need to file your taxes.
Imagine. That's horrible. I love it when people say that. Like they say it so like, don't do this. You don't need to. And then it's like,
I'm like, yeah, but I don't want the IRS knocking at my door and arresting me.
I prefer freedom. Like I'd rather be. Obviously, this is.
I don't want to be in prison.
Yeah. Prison sounds worse than paying taxes. I don't know about that.
It's like, look, I may not agree with all the shit the government does, but I follow the rules because I don't want to be in prison.
Yeah.
I would be a hot commodity in prison.
Especially with a little Snapchat filter on you.
Brother, don't even get me started. Oh, shit. That's
the woman Snapchat filter is
crazy.
That's
a horrifying thought. I'm a bad bitch with that filter on, bro. I do not want to go to prison, dude. I'd be so scared.
Hey, remember we sent that to all the guys and we all ranked you number 1?
Oh, my God. You guys are horrible. Horrible, dude. That'll be one of my last thoughts on my deathbed was, I can't believe they did that to me in the group chat.
Yeah, everybody said dibs.
Oh my God!
I'm first though.
Jesus,
no, I'm just kidding.
You're a fucking animal, bro. Honestly, if I had to take one for the team, I would pick you over DeAndre and Max, bro.
Oh shit!
I'm
God,
just
that
I,
is
if I
funny.
had to put that on, sorry for the
If
podcast.
anyone finds us or finds that clips out, do me a favor. You guys all put the female filter on, put it in your guys' boys group chat, and then see who's getting dibs the most.
Oh my god, dude, this is so bad.
Good. It is a good laugh,
This is
dude.
so bad, dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, I'm the homie.
Yeah.
Take one for the team. Shit.
Do you want one of those chocolates? Because I know chocolates have been your thing.
Oh, dude, I'm almost done with my chocolates, and I was like, I gotta take a break because I've had so much lately.
Mm-hmm.
I need to cool it. I've been having too much chocolate, bro.
Bro's out here going to become a pre-diabetic.
Oh shit, I can't. I can't do that. Can't do that.
How long-
Chocolate's so good though.
How long have we been going for?
Been going for an hour and 5 minutes, so
Damn.
we're pretty much at the end now.
That was solid.
Yeah, solid pod. Talked about giants and shit. That's cool.
Giants.
And
What-
artificial wombs.
What homie's getting dibs the most?
You're.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. It's
Yep.
been a good one. And we will see you back next week, same time.
Yep.
For
See
everybody.
ya. See you later. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.